Hi everyone, it's Lori B at Grungy Girl Journals. I'm here to show you my latest journal, Sweet Pea. This is a pouch that I made out of, I believe this was a towel, probably for the bathroom. I'm not sure. It is a good size towel, and I was able to use it in its entirety. Of course, I added the lace. This came from it was probably a table runner. The lace is a bit delicate and is coming apart in some areas. So it is a little fragile. So I decided to use it on the pouch instead of on the actual journal. Look at this. Isn't this yummy? It says good morning in a very soft pink and white embroidery. And I don't remember where I got this, just from an online seller. I did my slow stitching around the edges. I did some French knots here at the scallops, right along there. And then there's the back. And that is it's tea stained. And it had already, been grungy when I purchased it, and I did wash it, but then I ended up tea staining it again like I do everything else, so, it's got a very nice patina on it. It's plenty big for the journal. I decided not to put a snap on it. Oh, look at this. This is the quilt material that I used for the lining. It turned out so soft and, also tea stained. Um, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, I decided not to put a snap on it because I just did not wanna, um I didn't want it just didn't need it. It's the flap is plenty big for it to stay closed on its own. I think I have this upside down. So see, it fits in there nicely. Sorry, I'm fumbly. One of these days I'm gonna get my camera set up to where I'm not so close. But I figured out how to zoom and all that, but it zooms too close or it zooms too far out. And this was pretty much the best I could do as far as getting most of it in picture. This is Sweet Pea. She turned out to be a very good size journal. And if you've been with me for a few years, I started making these skirts. It's a skirt closure. I started making these a couple of years ago, and just really, I was originally really inspired by a baby's christening dress, vintage baby's christening dress that I had gotten, and didn't know what to do with it, and then realized that well, my journals need skirts. So I've been doing that for a couple of years, and they're really, really fun. I'm no seamstress. My mom taught me the basics growing up. I do everything hand sewing because I enjoy it. I have a sewing machine that doesn't like me very much, and it's actually got too much stuff on it right now for me to even use it. But I do enjoy the hand sewing, so everything I do is hand sewn. I try not to use any glue when I can, and if I do use glue, it's usually a glue stick just to tack it down, and then I sew. So this was a piece of, what do you call this? What do you call that? It's not embroidery, needlework, needle stitch. It was originally a real big piece, and I just cut a piece of it out, which I had no idea if that was gonna work or not. It looked like it went on the back of a chair maybe. It was a pretty good size piece. And put some of this trim around the edges, and then this is kind of attached on with these clips, which I rusted. I don't know what you call those. They're kinda like overall clips, I guess. You know, your overalls that you wear, that your grandpa wears. I don't really know, but they turned out really well. And sewed it onto this piece of very old quilt. It's just a piece underneath there. And this is a little pocket if you want to add a little something in there. I did not. You can put a key in there or, whatever you like. And I just added some scraps of seam binding. And I wanted this journal to have one color that kind of stood out. And I think you can see what that is. It's this teal blue. And I put all these tassels on. I actually took them off from some trim and reattached them using some thread this way. It turned out really nicely. So this is just kind of composed of a vintage napkin, a quilt, a chair back cover, some of my favorite fabric that I inherited from my mother. And there's the back, and I got these beautiful buttons, crochet covered buttons from a friend. Thank you very much. You know who you are. And just some velvet ribbon, and it is held together with two snaps, and they're magnetized as well. And this is the tag that I made for the front. And this journal went through quite a transformation. It was completely different when I first started it. And once I changed the fabric cover, pretty much everything changed. And it's been over a course of 2 months or maybe longer that I've been working on this journal. But this was the original tag that I made for it. And I wanted to keep it as the original tag. And it still does very nicely. And there is a hint on kind of what's inside the journal. But I just did some collaging on the back. This is from a tablecloth, I believe. It's got some embroidered thread on there, some very old lace. And I will put down in the description box below the digitals that I used. I believe this was from Twisted Paper Studio, and this right here. And then this is a German scrap. So seam binding, and I did some of my doodle stitching around the edges. Turned out really cute, and an old button. So let me take this off and just show you the inside of the skirt. You can see the hand sewing. And I pleated all that. This christening dress was in really good shape. It did have some holes, but it's so soft. It's so soft. And it's got a beautiful, it's like a cream color. Very, very pretty. Where's that? And here is Sweet Pea. Sorry, everything is slipping. So my mess. This is Sweet Pea. This fabric was not the fabric that I started out with. Like I said, it kind of evolved and transformed over a couple of months. And I love this fabric. And I just did some seed, I guess that's what you call them, seed stitches on it. If you can see that, but it's very textural. It feels so good. And I did not have the dark teal thread. That the fabric did not have that color in it. So it did have the it's more like a French blue. So that's what I ended up using. So there's none of the dark teal on this, but I think it blends in nicely together with the skirt. That is the outside. And I'm sorry, I did not have this tied, but this ties, and you really don't need it. It'll slide right out of there, but it just kind of makes it easier to handle when you're getting, when you're getting the journal out of the pouch. Makes it a little more compact. And she did get a little plump. Anyway, that ties right there. She did get a little plump. This is probably the fullest junk journal that I've done in a very long time. But I just couldn't stop adding to it. Look at this trim. And this was pretty much the inspiration for the whole using an added pop of color in this journal. It originally was like a fuchsia pink, and remember, I said that the cover changed. So, now fuchsia pink would not go in this at all, but it's completely changed. And when I came across this trim, which was given to me by the wonderful Erin, I knew that that was what I wanted to use. It was a little, I was a little worried about. Uh, it wasn't fragile, but it's kind of thin. So what I ended up doing was I used some Light and Bond, some of the stuff that you iron on and you fuse fabrics together, and I used that on the back, but it's not fused to anything, so it feels kind of rubbery under there, and I like that. That it feels like a coating on the underside. Let me put this up because it's so pretty. It's almost like a linen look. I don't know how to describe it, but it's embroidered. And that is on the front as well as the back. So here's some buttons I sewed in. This is a hidden spine. Cannot see the spine on the outside. And this is just a tuck. I used an old postcard. There's some extra writing space and another collage tag. You can use it as a nameplate. I just love this. I'll put that back in later. This is a page that I found in the beginning of one of my books. Oh lordy, that is blurry. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can fix that or make it worse. That doesn't look better. That looks better. So it says, to the friends at whose desire I have made it, I dedicate this little book. And I've put that in several of my journals. Some cute little cupids there. Can't remember offhand who the digital artist is, but I will put that in the description box below. And I use several out of this kit. And this is just a really a Mod Podge of different pages. The person who is going to be getting this book isn't a journaler, and neither am I. So it was fun to kind of go through what I have and not really have to think about writing space. Although there still is plenty of writing space in here. You can write wherever you want. This was a pharmacist notebook. This came out of a book. I don't remember. This is like a table for I don't know, cute little book. It came out of a cute little book. It's a postcard. I just kept it in the sleeve it came in because it does have a bend in there. And this is some of that lace that is on the pouch. On the bottom, it's just from a different area of the table runner. Little rusted safety pins and a rose. Just a little, looks like somebody was jotting down some notes in a little notebook. And I've got a couple of different types of books in different languages in here as well. This is like a rag paper. This is from one of my favorite wedding dresses. I've used several times. Love is all we need. And that piece of sequined lace that I love to use. And like I said, it's just I used a lot of different books to kind of make up the pages of this for this journal. And I'm not going to take out everything. I want some of it to be a surprise. And you can kind of tell it's not really a theme, but I did use a lot of cupids. I love cupids. And there's some French items in here as well. Here is a map of Texas, the lace cluster with a button, shorthand book. This book had to do with like filing and business, filing and indexing. And here is a tag, which I actually ended up hinging into the book. I think I showed this one on no, it wasn't this one. It was a different one. Different notebook pages. Some old envelope. Actually, this is from 1957. This is the tissue paper. And I just made up this little lace sampler. I found this grungy piece of paper in my stash. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it was. There's tape right here. It ended up being, it probably, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with lace. I know that. But I love it. That's what it's like, well, there's the perfect little piece of paper. And it was this size paper. Nice and grungy. And this beautiful, beautiful antique lace. It's always fun to find things like this, in a drawer or, in your grandmother's closet or something like that. And that's kind of why I wrapped it in the tissue, is because that's how you always seem to find things that are special and delicate. And I put some paper doilies in this one, and I beeswaxed all of these. Some of them were stained with distress inks. Say German scrap. And I put quite a bit of original ephemera in here and also digitals, which I just aged up in distress. 1927. Cute. I just put those on some fabric. And this is a recipe for angel biscuits, which I thought was perfect. Here's a tag I made. Look at this fun trim. Dolly. This is from a Braille trans transcriber. Braille teaches you how to transcribe Braille. Here is the tag that I posted on Facebook. Just added a little bit of this beautiful trim right here. And I added the wings. And I made it a paperclip. There's them digital that I aged up. And these are cute. Just one of those cute little clips you can get on paper clips you can get on eBay. And then I added some little rosette. I don't know if you call that a rosette. It's a flower made out of ribbon. I just glued that on there. Added some dried flowers. And this is from the Goldsmith Pickle Company. Here's some more. This might be from a different antique lace. I don't know. So just a little cluster there and added an old flower. Here's a poem called The Rejected Rose. This came out of a French. So it's like where you write your your addresses and phone numbers and things, address book. And that just tucks right up in there. Glassine envelope. And this is a pocket. Another postcard. It's getting dark in here. I wonder if it's going to rain. A dictionary page. Here is a flap. And I just redid a flower, kind of made my own flower. And this is the three Eves. You know, they're got no clothes on. So I don't know if, I don't want to get the strikes on eBay. I mean, on YouTube. That's just a pretty flap. And I don't remember where I got this, but it looks like it came from a baby christening dress. I got that from somebody. Very pretty. And this is it's a digital, but it's from a embroidery book that has patterns for the alphabet. And then this is Sweet Pea, who I just love and fell in love with. That is Sweet Pea. And not sure why is that a rooster? I don't even know. Is it a rooster or a chicken? I think it's a rooster. But it really just had to go in this journal. So cute. And this is a sleeve from a photograph album. And I rusted up, kind of like a dog tag with a button and a bull clip. And it just slides right through there. And it's those magazines for women's. This is a French La Mode. I don't, I can't remember what the name of the magazine was, but this was a really delicate piece of paper. And so it's pretty brittle. Just added a frame and some pretty flowers on there. And one sweet. Created with love and embossed some cardstock. And a friend sent me these beautiful covered buttons. Some other hidden paper clip. And this recipe is for angel food cake. And this came out of my mother's stash of recipes. I have 4 big gallon-sized bags of recipes like this. They're just pieces of paper that she wrote on or tore out of a book, or my grandmother or whoever in the family wrote down for my mother. So that's a special recipe. Good wishes. This is the other side of that pickle company. It's another paper clip, and I just took a little doily and sewed it to the underside. And so far, it's been pretty pretty sturdy. So I was happy with the way that came out. And this is just a piece of paper so you can write on. Not sure where I got that digital from. It was a long time ago, maybe Graphics Fairy. And I put a quote in here: art is something that makes you breathe with a different kind of happiness. And this is a quote from Anne Albers, which I had never heard of her. So I looked her up, and it just so happens that she is one of she has written some book on angels and spiritual type books. And I thought that was just so appropriate. I didn't even know that when I picked this quote out. So the journal has cupids and angels in it. So that was very appropriate. I was happy about that. Some tatting. It's an original piece of ephemera. And this is from a book about watches. Here's some more old lace, some of my favorite ribbon, a stamp, some banana bread recipe. And this is one of those French letters that they fold up to where they can mail it, and just like this. Isn't this a pretty house? I guess you would call that a mansion. Very pretty. And this isn't like a uh, kind of like an envelope I made. It's another tab that I made into a paperclip. He's darling. This is Lochte paper. I believe that's what you call it. It's fibrous handmade paper. I just put some wings on her. It's a piece of book page, Japanese, I believe. Not positive. And I think I did this in my last journal as well. So this says, this was also from a book, from the front of a book. And I just photocopied it, and it says, a good book is the precious lifeblood of a master spirit. I put one of these pretty moths on there, added some antenna to him. And this is a book cover from a French to English dictionary, one of those little pocket size dictionaries. And then there's the inside. Cute little cupid right there. It's just a tuck-in spot. And this is a flower, a Gerber daisy from our front yard. It was originally, I think, pink, and it turned this color when I pressed it. And this has the definition of journal on it, and I laminated it. Some more old lace. It This came out of a book, and somebody just wrote somebody's address there. And I put a glassine envelope in here, and I believe I meant to attach that, and I forgot, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to tip in right here, and it can be just an additional place to add whatever you want. And my favorite page, this came out of a book, and look, I love it. It's the orchestra. So it has, it says what instrument everybody is playing. So cute. And then here's the back, the triangle. I just love that. We're getting to the end. So I fit a lot in this journal. I believe there's 30, I used 35 pieces of paper and, book page. And so that's you times that 4, and that's how many actual pages you have. So what's 4 times 35? 140 or something or other. And here is the back. Another one of those French type envelopes. And this tucks in. They fold it in a way that it can just tuck in. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do it. Tucks in that way. I think I did it the wrong way though. And that's the way they mailed it. There was a piece of, there was a, they wax sealed it right there. And that's the way it was held together. And my signature card. And then here's another little tuck area. And that's it. Turned out so good. So I'll get that all together before I send it off. And I also wanted to tell you about, this is my a little ad that I'm doing. I wanted to tell you about a friend of mine, um, friends of mine. It is Lindy Kay and Sean, and I wanted to show you these. And if you're interested, I will put their information in the description box below. I just wanted to share their talent with you. Sean is actually the one that does a lot of the sewing, especially for the items. Lindy does sewing too. She makes ephemera and things like that. She helps him pick out the fabrics, and then he is the one that actually does the sewing, and he does a wonderful job. This is my scissors holder, so it holds 3 sets of scissors. I chose to put I use these sometimes when I'm trying to pull through needles in thick fabric. So I have one of those in there, and it's really just adorable and so cost effective. So I keep all those together in there. And they do a lot of different products, and they have sales on YouTube. And all you have to do is contact them, and they will make you um, whatever they make. This is a ironing board. It is constructed with the actual silver ironing board material underneath the the this fabric. This is the one that I chose. I believe this is a 12 by 12. I think it is covered in the back with felt. And I used this size. I originally only had this size, and I actually needed something a little bigger for my linens because I do iron quite a bit, and I use the fusing too, which I have to use my iron for. So I needed something a little bigger. I'll show you that one in a minute. But this one is the one that I use when I iron paper. If I tea stain any paper, that's how I put it on here, and that's what I use to iron paper. And then this one is my big one. And I believe I measured this one, and I think it's, I want to say 16 by 16. Mm, I measured it a couple weeks ago, and of course I've already forgotten. But you can contact them on Facebook or through YouTube. Just leave them a note on one of their videos, and you they will go through the size you want. If you want a custom size, they'll do rectangle. They'll show you if you give them an idea of what kind of fabric you want. I wanted pink, and Lindy knows me, so she sent a picture of this one, and this is what I wanted. It's a nice bright pink with roses, and it's something that it. And not only do I like it for just how it looks, but I won't lose this. I mean, I will be able to see this from across the room, and I love that. So anything I get, it's usually pink because I can always see it. It doesn't hide from me. And I love pink anyway. So if they will work with you, Sean now does these ironing boards for the tops of carts. So if you have a art cart, you can send him the dimensions of the cart, and he will custom make a cover that you can iron on. And like I said, this has got the silver material below this, the fire retardant material. And he does a beautiful job just putting felt on the back and stapled. And these have been I use these every day. So I really wanted to share with you. And they are extremely sweet people. I've Facebooked Lindy quite a few times and have been on her YouTube lives, and she's pretty much the sweetest person that you'll ever meet, honestly. And so get yourself an ironing board. It is invaluable to me. I just absolutely love mine. Okay, I guess that is it. That is my show and tell for the day. I hope you liked it. It's been a while since I've been on, and boy, I had quite a time trying to set up. And my laptop screen was upside down, and I couldn't figure out how to make it right side up. And whoo! But I finally did it. Kind of fumbled through it, and I got this done. So I am so happy about that. And I hope everybody likes Sweet Pea. Say hello to Louie, my sweet Louie, and I will see you all next time.